Can you hear me?
I can hardly hear you. You're very low.
Okay, that's okay.
I guess it's Malcolm we need to hear.
Yeah, I'm here. We'll get started shortly. I'm giving about 4 more minutes to hop on.
Hi, Janice.
Hi, Don. I'm trying to be incognito. I got my mute on.
But I can see you when I see Malcolm.
Oh,
I can't
that's not good.
Maybe I can take stuff off
Want to
of the
clarify, we are
video.
recording.
I don't need to be on the video.
You don't need to be on video if
Yeah.
you don't.
I'm not gonna be on video. It is off. Oh, where am I? Oh gosh. Okay.
All right, about 2 more minutes. We will get started. All right, everyone. If you cannot hear me, just put it in the chat. But we are gonna go ahead and get started. It's 12:05, so we'll go ahead and get the ball rolling. We do not want to take up everybody's time. Thank you all for joining. This Tech Talk today is over Microsoft Bookings, which is a wonderful platform for staff, your department, and especially faculty, because it really gives you that automation and hands-off access for people to book appointments based on your schedule and how much lead time you need. You set everything up on the front end, and once you have that all set up, then moving forward, you don't have to touch it. You don't have to worry about scheduling people. You may need a 30-minute gap between scheduling. You set all that up in bookings. So this will allow for you to more, like that, seamlessly book appointments with, students or other staff, or maybe your department offers services like advising, and you need to schedule advising time. This allows you to, do that scheduling hands off. So I'm gonna go ahead and start by sharing my screen. Just a second. Okay. Okay, can everybody see my screen? Yeah?
Yes.
Okay. So, okay, and you guys see it says good afternoon in my name?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So going into bookings, currently right now, it's not turned on for the organization. We will turn it on later on today after this meeting. So you'll have it available to you tomorrow. But when you first come in, this is what it looks like. You can access it through the web is the main way to access it. So if you go into your email through the web or your Office 365 account online through the web, you will come up here to the app launcher in the top left. And as you can see, all your applications that you have access to will be listed here. You'll see bookings here. You'll click bookings and it'll take you right to the site. When you first come in, it'll be blank because you won't have any bookings unless you've already set it up. I know I've worked with a couple of departments to kind of set theirs up before this, but it'll come up blank and it'll ask you to create one. If you want it, even if you have one, you can come here and hit new, and you can start by beginning to create your booking. It'll ask for your business name and the business type, which you can just put standard education, but your business name, maybe it's financial aid, you put financial aid services, or maybe it's for CAE, you put, Center for Academic Excellence, right? You put whatever you want to name that booking. So I've already pre-set up one, so we can kind of walk through, we can see the ins and outs of it. When you first create the booking, we'll see these tiles at the top here. These are helpful to get you started, right? This will walk you through each and every aspect to get it up and running that you can use to reference. If you want to create your first booking, publish the page, add different services, add your staff members, set reminders, Microsoft, get the app for your phone. Add to you want to add a service to the calendar. You need buffer time between meetings. You can add it to Facebook, customize your page, and you can set the business hours that works for your department or maybe for that specific service. So these are all great reference guides listed right here that you can reference. So first I'm gonna go into the calendar. In this test environment, before I go into the calendar, I'll go into the calendar first. So looking at the calendar, if you have a booking with you or your staff, it will show their calendars. To see their schedule, when they're available, when they aren't available, and it'll also show, when you do have a service. So right now we have a test booking, which Blake Hamilton, he set an appointment for a software install, right? So from a holistic view or a week view, you can see what staff is assigned to what service, whether it's a counseling service, whether it's a software install. You'll see from a calendar view your staff and what they're assigned to or what their kind of appointments look like from a holistic view, which is a great feature. So as you can see, I said Blake has software install on this date. Janice doesn't have anything currently there, but you'll be able to see. It won't show your staff, well, unless you have that permission, it won't show your staff like their actual calendar. It will just show when they are busy or tentative. But you'll be able to actually see the services that they have been booked for. And you can also add new bookings straight from here. So I have 3 services set up, which we will get into later: software installs, computer installs, and a test service 3. You can create an appointment strictly from here. If somebody was to call you like, hey, I want to set up an appointment for this time, you can directly create it here on whoever calendar you want that's assigned to that service. So I chose computer install. Janice is the only person currently assigned to that, so that's the only person that they can choose. If I was to do software install, me and Janice are assigned to this, so they can choose either or choose both, right? And then the last one was the service 3, as well as the same. You can choose either or if you want to do the service if you're booking it manually. Next is the bookings page. Now this page is what the end user will see when they are booking, right? So if I'm gonna unpublish this real quick, but currently it won't be published when you're in here. You'll be able to set all the settings and everything. Once you publish, you will get this link to where you can copy to your, wherever you want to direct students or staff or whoever you want to book, wherever you want to direct them, you could put this link there and they can access it as well as embed it, which I'll show you later on. You can, this, like I said, this is where you set up the look and feel of it. Here you can connect to Facebook. So if, Kate has a Facebook page, they can connect to that Facebook page and make that link available for people to book through Facebook. I know that could be good for students as well. If they're on Facebook, they can go to your page and book the link. Booking page access control. Now, so this determines on who can book, right? If the service is centered to HT students, I would recommend requiring an Office 365 account from our organization. So that means if they wanted to book, they have to sign into their Office 365 account. Maybe it's a general support like financial aid, maybe, or admissions. They may need to set appointments for students that aren't students yet. So they wouldn't want to check this because that student would not have Office 365 account yet. You can also disable it. Maybe you don't want it to be searchable on Google, right? You can disable it to make sure that nobody can find it, just by doing a Google search or a Bing search. Customer data usage. So this is basically like an agreement that they would check off, saying, hey, if they are submitting any information with their appointment, you can put, I agree that, I understand that this information is confidential, or any type of approval that you want to put on there. They would have to check off and then submit. Scheduling policy. So these policies are the overarching policy over all services. So when you create services, you can create multiple different services that there are to offer, but that scheduling policy from services will be superseded by the main one, unless you choose to deviate from that. So if this will be your default for whenever you create any services. So how do you want to display your time slots, right? Do you want to display them, they can book every 30 minutes, or they can book every 45 minutes, every hour, every 9 minutes. This basically displays when the time slots are available. So it may say 8, 8:30. So in this instance, it'd be like 8, 8:30, 9:30, 9, 9:30, 10. It would show those times that they can book. Minimum lead time. So this is the lead time that needs to be booked, that somebody would need to book in advance. So maybe you don't want any appointments to be booked the same day. You want to have 24 hours. You would put 24 here. Maybe you want them to book a week in advance. You would calculate the hours in a week, and you'll put that in here so that way nobody will be able to book late. They would have to book a week in advance or 3 days in advance. You would put that in here on, how you want that to be scheduled. The maximum lead time is the furthest out they can schedule. You may want to only allow people to schedule a month in advance and not 2 months in advance. You may want to keep it in that window. So your window may be 3 days to a month. This is where you would put that. Email notification. So everything is pretty straightforward. Just check the box. Notify the business when a booking is created or changed. So if this is checked, whenever somebody does schedule an appointment or book an appointment, you will be notified. And also, you can automatically make it send a meeting invite to you in the customer, student, staff, to send the invite to them as soon as they book, right? So as soon as they hit submit booking, they will get a calendar invite scheduling them for that meeting automatically. Staff, so like I said, this supersedes all services unless in that specific service, you make an adjustment. So here on the open, I allow people to choose the specific person they want to work with. So if you have in your booking 10 people, whoever's filling out the booking, they will be able to select who they want to work with, based on who you have listed or assigned to that service. Availability, you can change the availability to, when staff are free, or you can have custom hours to what you want availability. So maybe you only want financial aid services to be, maybe from noon to 5, we will be taking appointments. You create those custom hours for the day on when people can book those appointments. And then you can also set, maybe, you have your consistent, you just want to be a book when everybody's free, but maybe a specific week, your department has an audit. So maybe your time is limited. So you can set availability based on a week. So let's say the 27th through the 31st, we have an audit. So we need to make custom hours, right? So we're only going to be available for 2 hours a day. And so once it gets to this week, it will take into effect that new availability. Once the week's over, it will default back to your regular availability. So that's very key with people that get a lot of service and schedule changes. Next is the branding, customize how you want. Currently, I have the customization, the branding of the university. If you want to display your logo, here's where you would upload your logo. You can click here and upload a logo that you want, and then it'll be displayed on the page. And then region and time zone, you can always choose to have it central time, or you can have it adjust to wherever time zone they are. Current situation we're in, so for students, some people may have different time zones, so you may want it to, not show our time zone, but show their time zone on their end, so they understand, the time that they are booking for. Any questions on this, on the setting up of the page? Okay. And so when you're done, like I said, you would save and publish. And it'd be available. Next is the customers. So every time somebody submits a booking, they become a customer. So Blake, he submitted a booking for a software install on the 21st. So now his information is here, and any notes that he had placed in that booking would be here. So you can come and find and see everybody that has booked with you previously. And you can also import people too to be part of the customers. It's customers because it is more of a booking business base, but for us, it's going to be more of customer service based. So every time somebody books, they'll just be added in here, their email, phone number, so forth. And if there's custom fields, that other information will be added to that customer's profile. Staff. So this is where you add your staff. So if I'm the financial aid department, I may create, a financial aid bookings page, right? Then I would add all my team members in here. Basically, you would choose add staff, and then you would come to add people, and you would just type the name. So if I type Josh, it's going to come up just like email. I would select him. I'd put his phone number in there, and then I would choose his role. It explains the roles at the bottom, so a viewer, they can see the bookings, but they can't modify or delete, which you may want for your team. You may be like, I don't want you to change any appointment dates, just keep it the same. Or they can be an administrator where they can add people, remove staff, create and delete bookings. They would have that availability. Or it can be a guest. So somebody that you really don't need to see the calendar, you just need them to take the appointment. Also, email notifications to email the staff. Availability. It's important to have this checked. I mean, it's really up to you, but if you have events on off calendar affect availability, this will adjust what time slots are available. So if you have meetings scheduled from 9 to 12, that booking time slots from 9 to 12 won't be available because it's taken into effect that you are busy during that time on your personal calendar. So it looks at your personal calendar, sees what you're available, and then it populates available times after that. So it's key because if you don't have this checked, you can be double booked on something personal meeting you have with another, with something else. And then this is saying use business hours. So whatever business hours you set for the bookings, that will be taking effect. But maybe you want that staff not to use business hours. Maybe you want that specific staff member to just only be available from 3 to 5. You can come and make their schedule customizable in here as well. So that way they aren't booked outside of a time you don't want them to be booked. You may want your other team to be available all day, but you may want one specific team member available during a specific time or days. And then you would just hit save, and then it would add that person to the team. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? I hope. Let me know if I'm moving too fast. Nope. Okay. Moving forward. Services. So this is very important because you get to list out what you want. So maybe I'm gonna use financial aid again. Maybe they're offering their services based on last name. Their first service could be students with last name beginning with A through H, right? And then the second service could be students' last names beginning with G through Z, right? So they can break out their services and assign specific staff to that service. So I have my service A through L. I'm going to assign this counselor to that service so that she's only bookable because that is her range of students. If you don't have any staff assigned, then everybody will be available to be selected. This is where you will list all the services that you have to offer. So if we come into one, we'll go service 3. So this is the one I created. Every service you can, instead of going to the main bookings page, you can have a link directly to that specific service. Once you save it, it'll create this link and you can copy it or share it in email. It'll list all the staff assigned. Unless somebody is selected, everybody is available. So if I want to cut down who's available, I would just select on who can be available. But if, like I said, if nobody's checked, then everybody is available for that service. And so you would name your service. This one's named Service 3. You would have a description for it, what it's about. And then you can choose the location for it, right? So if we were on site, you may choose, if your office number of room, 105 AL, you could put that in there. Or you can also add an online meeting, which should be beneficial to how we are now. So for CAE, this is great because for advising, you can, create a service that's for advising for maybe a specific group of students or just advising in general. You can add an online meeting and it will automatically generate a Teams meeting when it's booked. So when somebody books this meeting, when somebody books this time slot, they will automatically get an invite for a Teams meeting that they can join when it's time for that meeting. So you can automatically send that out. As soon as they submit it, they'll be sent a meeting invite and they will submit a virtual meeting link in Teams. Here you choose the duration of, you choose the duration of the service, right? So this service is going to take me an hour to complete. On average, it's taking me about an hour to complete. So that's what I'm going to keep it, an hour, right? Maybe it goes over 15 minutes sometimes. Maybe it goes over, maybe I want to have a buffer time, so it may exceed 1 hour, right? So I want to take that buffer time into account. I can turn on buffer time and I can add an extra 30 minutes onto it. So if I have a booking from 11 to 12, if I turn this buffer time on at 30 minutes after, the next person can't book till 12:30. So it gives me that 30-minute gap before somebody else can book, just in case I run over time. Or you can just have it off and your appointments can fall 11 to 12, 12 to 1. You can keep a strict schedule like that. But the buffer time allows before and after of when people can schedule. You can also choose to let people manage their own appointments. So as soon as somebody, if you were to book somebody's appointment or they book their own appointment, maybe they need to have a schedule change. They need to they can go to the link that they get emailed, and they can change what day and time slot that they want. It won't create a new invitation. It will just edit their current invitation. So it may move it from Wednesday at 12 to Friday at 11. This gives them the capability to do that if you have it checked off. You can also choose the maximum number of maximum number of attendees per event. Here, there's no price because we aren't charged for any services, so this is always price not set. And then you can leave notes on this service internally to let people know specifics on what needs to go on. Maybe there's some documents they need to reference, or maybe a process they need to reference. You can put that in here so they can go back and see that and look at it and reference that while they're having their appointment. Here you can add custom fields as well, which you'll see later on, which I'll show you later on once we get to the actual booking page. But in these custom fields, you can modify them. These are default fields: email, phone number, address, and notes. You can choose what is required. And I think it's always good to require a phone number because you do have the ability to send out text reminders if they opt into it. And you can also add your own custom fields. Here, you can add a question. Maybe you need an additional question you want them to answer. You can add it here. They can respond. And you can also add drop-down questions. You put a question here. Maybe you say choose which option you prefer, and then they'll be able to choose from the thing, which I'll show you visually once we get to the booking page. And then you can, like I said, choose if it's required or if it's not required. So this one, I put student ID number, so we want to require people to put their student ID number. So here is where you can send reminders, right? So maybe on this one, I want to remind everybody a week in advance. And maybe I want to remind them a week and a day in advance, right? You create that custom message that goes out either through text message or email on what the reminder is. So this one says, just a quick reminder that your service is coming up soon. You may want to change that to, hey, just a quick reminder that your service is tomorrow for a day, or maybe you want to have one for a week, like, hey, just a reminder next week, don't forget your appointment. So you can set up as many reminders that you want to remind the student, staff, or customer that their appointment is coming up, so it keeps them actively reminded without you having to send updates. When the person books the appointment, this is where you would fill for the service. This is where you would fill out the information that you also want to include in their confirmation. So when they fill out, they get an email confirmation say, hey, you booked this appointment. You booked this appointment. This is your time. If you want to change it, you can click here, and it'll also have whatever information that you choose to put in here. So maybe you want to put, make sure you please have, for CAE, make sure you please have these items in order and ready to go at your meeting time. That will be displayed in their email confirmation. And then here you can enable text message notification for them. When they book in, they'll have the option to select if they want to receive text message notifications of reminders or bookings. And then this is how you enable and disable a service that's on your page. If it's unchecked, of course, it's not going to show on your page. If it is checked, it will show on your bookings page. Here is back to the scheduling options. If I choose to use the default scheduling policy, it will take into account that bookings page scheduling policy that I referenced earlier. But if you want this service to be outside of that scheduling policy, you would uncheck the box, and then you can choose how it will be scheduled separately from everything else. Same concept, it's just specific to this one service that you are offering. Any questions on managing the services?
We have a question in the chat.
Okay, hold on, let me see. Big chat. All right, into the chat. Okay, let me answer these questions real quick. Oh, yeah. So, in reference to Officer York, yeah, we will generate a how-to guide on how to set it up in reference. Services dates. That's a good question about the reports. I believe you can export your reports. Off the top of my head, I don't know, but I will definitely find that out for you about getting that reporting done. Okay, thanks, Janice, for that. And so the last tab is business information, right? So this is basically the business thing which you set up in the very beginning. You can put your address, maybe your location, the phone number that's referenced, who you want the customer replies to go to. So maybe it's to you, or maybe it's to your specific, department email. You can post your website in here. Maybe you have a private policy that you want to reference. You can put that in there. Terms and conditions, like I said, the business type. Currency is not really going to matter because we aren't paying for services, but we're not having people pay for service. But if you were, you can change the currency. And this is the default business hours that can be changed for your department for this site. I would typically keep it for everybody, 8:30 to 5:30, and then just make your services time specific. And then, like I said, your business logo, if you want to change it, you can change it here. And so, and also, if there are these at the top are also guides that help you with setting up everything. It's like a checklist of what you can do. So, anybody have any questions on the background on how setting it up? Anybody have any more questions on that before we move to how it is seen on the inside? Got you. And so this is a great point when we were helping somebody. If you are creating a bookings and you want it to be centered around your department email, just make sure you let us know so we can assign that license to that department email. That way you can create that booking in there as opposed to creating it on your own personal schedule. For faculty and staff, it's going to be more personal, but for departments, it may be like they may use HTU to set up their booking environment and then just add the staff as opposed to, Ms. Williams creating it in hers and then adding staff. It's really aesthetics. It's not that much of a difference on how you do it, but you may have a preference on, you may want to keep everything centralized in that, specific account. So I will go ahead and move forward to how it looks. So as I said, once you save and publish, you'll get this link that you can copy and paste anywhere. You can link to Facebook. You can send it straight to Facebook, Twitter, email. You just copy this link and paste it in the browser, paste it in the link, and then they'll be able to access it by clicking on it. You can also embed. The thing on the website. So if on the MySTU page, you can we can assist with this if needed, but you can take this HTML code, copy it, and we can put it on the website. So where when it comes to the website, this is a really, really rough draft. So excuse how it looks, but basically this is our page, and we put it on the actual page to where it's not a link. They can go to our main website, and they can choose what they want to do, and then book it. So it's actually embedded into the site. So if you want to do that, maybe you have a auxiliary page that you want it to be on, we can do that. You would just need to give us that embed code up here in HTML. Or the iframe one, either or. So if you go directly to the link, this is what it looks like. So you have your branding, you have your logo, you have your different services that we had created. You put the information. It'll tell the description you put in there. It'll be placed here. So I think we put, test service for bookings to show no staff selection. So that's what I put under there. This one doesn't have any description. So they can kind of see, okay, so what is software install? What does this entail? They'll be able to see and view, and they'll be able to see the duration of that appointment. So if I was to click software install, right, I set this up to where they can choose the staff members they want. So this gives them the option to choose who they want to be, or they can just choose anyone, right? They don't care who it is, they just want somebody. Or maybe they want specifically Janet, so they're going to choose Janet. As you see, her schedule, 8 on the 21st, this is her schedule. You see 8, 8:30, 9, 9:30, 10. If you were to go to my schedule, there's no 9 o'clock slot because I probably have meetings already during that time. So it took into account that I'm not available. So it only gave them this times for me. If we were to choose computer install, this is also anyone. I mean, this is also, I allowed them to select, but I didn't assign myself to computer install. So you only have Janice available to select, right? So that's why it's important to, when you assign people to services, that's who they will see if you give them that option to choose. So like I said, I'm here, she's not here. I mean, I'm not here. The last one is service 3. There is no drop down because I did not give the users an option to choose. I didn't give the user an option to choose a specific individual. So they're gonna get whoever, it's gonna choose anyone based on their schedule, right? Who has the most lead time, it's gonna choose who's available. And then they can change the time zone. Maybe they wanna look at it in a different time zone, they can do that. But like I said, they can book, and it'll be grayed out where they can't book, so you don't have any issues in choosing when you can be booked. Right? So it gives you that time. So after you choose a service, and it'll say that person's not available as well. So if we were to choose a service, I'll choose 10:30 for myself. It requires me to put my name, email, and phone number, and then any notes that I have or special requests I can put in here. And address is optional as well. This was the agree I said that they would check off. If on that statement they would be able to check off. And then you can see get booking confirmation and reminder via text. It's gonna be grayed out until you put your phone number in. So once you put that in, then it will be highlights where you can receive messages. So if you require the number, then they'll put their number in, they can get text message updates, which is very key, especially with our students. Great way to reach them and keep them reminded. Like I said, we can set up reminders, so we can remind them an hour before, through text message, a day before, really stay on top of them without actually manually having to take up our own time to do that. It'll do it for us. And then you would hit book. But I'm gonna choose service 3 because I did make for service 3, I added those extra fields, custom fields. So when I added the custom fields, remember I put student ID and I made this required. So when you add those additional fields, they show up under here to provide. So I created a field to put your ID, and I also created a field for option choosing to kind of show you how it looks. And it shows optional, so they don't have to choose it. So this is what it would look like when you add those extra fields. So I selected 10 o'clock. I'll put my name in here. And then I'm gonna put my Gmail. I'm gonna put please help as an example. Student ID number. And then I'll choose chess option 2. I agree, and get booking confirmation. So I'm gonna go ahead and book this one. Sorry, I had to reload the page because I made changes on the back end. So let's do that again. And actually, I will do this one. So I want to select myself. 10:30 on the 21st. and then go ahead and book. And then, so I will get an email confirmation, which I will show you. Okay, and so I will get an email confirmation from both my email, my work email, and also from, of course, I signed up as a user, my Gmail. So if I go to calendar, now as you see, I just did a software install for Malcolm, and it shows up on this calendar. It shows up on this calendar, and it would also show up on, my personal calendar, which I can show you as well. So it showed up there, and let me share this. Hold on. Okay, so everybody see my calendar. This is my Outlook calendar. It immediately comes up. I have a bookings training from the company. My company name's bookings training module. But as you can see, it pops up directly here where I scheduled it. And then, like I said, I would also get the email confirmation here. This what you would get when it's assigned to you, a new booking from Malcolm, software install, this is the date. And then, like I said, it generated a Teams meeting, so you can join the team meeting when it's ready and it's on your calendar. So it automatically creates that meeting link. The next thing was from the end user side. So this is my Gmail. This is what it comes to in my Gmail. My appointment will be with, it'll tell you who it'll tell them who they're meeting with, who, like for us, who the tech they're meeting with, what's your company name, so it could be CAE, financial aid, and it'll ask you if you want to add it to your calendar. And it'll have the meeting link here for them to join the Teams meeting as well, and then they can also come here and manage their booking to reschedule, cancel, or create a new one.
Malcolm?
I'm not seeing your calendar.
Yeah.
Say it again?
I'm not seeing your calendar.
Hold on. Can you see my calendar now?
Nope.
Oh, I did not share. I just selected it. Sorry. Okay,
Now
I'm
I
sorry.
see it.
I'm gonna roll back really quick. So, like I said, it is in real time, and so as you can see, that meeting is now here on my, Outlook calendar that I booked. And then, like I said, you'll also get that email confirmation. Hey, this new booking is from Malcolm. This will be the student's name, and then it's gonna be with me, whoever the staff is, and when it is time. And then also here's the link to join the actual Teams meeting for you. So this is what you would get when somebody books a service. And this is the booking page. One second. Okay, sorry. So, and then from the end user side, this is what they will see. This is what it looks for Gmail. You get it. It gives you the option to accept the invite, add it to your calendar, view it on your calendar. It tells you who your appointment's with. So this appointment is with me as a staff of HT. The title of your company, so if it's financial aid, it would say financial aid services or CAE. And it also has here where you can join. Like I said, it automatically generates a Teams meeting link for that time slot. So you can join here. The student or whoever is booking it will be able to join here from this link. Automatically created everything. And they can also manage their booking here, where they can reschedule, cancel, or create a new booking. Maybe they want to reschedule. They would choose reschedule and just choose a different time. All details will be there, and then they would update the booking. And you would get an update. It wouldn't create a duplicate. It would just change the time slot. So it gives them the accessibility to manage and change if you have enabled that. like I said, on calendar, it shows up on my calendar too of this time slot that was booked. And that's pretty much it all the way through, setting it up, how it looks on both sides, how they can schedule their bookings, cancel them, and everything. They'll get an email confirmation that was canceled. You will get that email confirmation that it is canceled. Like here, they'll let you know, okay, they canceled this. You can remove from your calendar, and so forth. So does anybody have any questions, concerns, any thoughts? Hold on, let me see. Okay. Well, if nobody has any questions, thank you all for joining. If you do need assistance in setting up, just reach out to us. We'll be more than happy to assist you. Like I said, it's a great platform. I think it will work for a lot of departments, and especially faculty coming up in this fall semester, since it will be remote. If a student needs to meet with you as an advisor, you don't have to worry about meeting up with them to determine a time. They can just go to your booking site and select a time, and then you can meet with them. So like I said, thank you all. Thanks, Ms. Miles, for setting this up and also for recording as well. We appreciate it. And we will get this we will get this video out to you all once it is available.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
No problem. So yeah, just we set up a meeting with me or any of my staff, and we will. We don't have a booking page yet either, but but just email us and we'll walk you through it again and get you guys together.
Thank you, Malcolm.
Thank you. No problem.